Right, folks, welcome to the first episode. And technical difficulties straight away, yes. Wouldn't be the fucking clueless drinker or Mondo Squallido if there wasn't any technical difficulties. And it seems weird saying Mondo Squallido once again. Never thought I would utter those words, but demand and desperation for content has made me do it. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit all over the place, is this one. Let's see. Let me just get the stream up. Evening, James. Hope you're doing well. Not sure how long this will go on for, to be honest. We shall see. But as I said, it's not really a proper episode if you watch the sort of videos running up to this. This is sort of like just an introduction, really. Talking about how I got into film, talk about like the past sort of like YouTube channel, and then just seeing what people have to say, really. So I hope that little introduction thing played okay, because that would be really sad if it didn't. Going forward, they're not all going to be sort of live. They will be sort of like edited. There'll be the odd live one here and there if I'm pushing for time, and I'm not sure how regularly this will be. And no, I'm not going to get naked and show you my penis on camera. Very sorry to disappoint anyone there, even though I'm only speaking to 3 people. But that's what it's about. Just creating something and doing it. Will it work? Probably not. Will I sort of like lose, not interest, but what's the word? Momentum. I've got a bit of a, I'll probably just like sack it off at some point, because that's what I'm like, really. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. And I hope you all, at least it kills an hour or so for you. But yeah, so got a bit of a 2-thing system here. It's amazing what you can do with free software. I'm actually really surprised at some of the features that you have without actually paying for StreamYard. But going forward, I'll definitely be subscribing. But yeah, as I said, it's the first episode of Labierdomania, which is going to be a film and kind of beer related podcast. I don't know how we're going to sort of like insert beers into the world of cinema. But mind you, if you've ever watched, is it The Erotic Nights of the Living Dead, there's a very interesting scene in a club where a woman sticks a bottle somewhere. I won't be doing that because that's solely for my OnlyFans account. But yeah, we'll kick it off properly in a minute. Of course, Labierdomania, gotta have a beer. And I thought I'd crack this open from Good Brewing Company. And this is a can of the End of Summer Imperial Porter, 7.4% ABV. Woodman's Wild Ale. I'm not sure if that's a brewery that they've collaborated with, or if that's part of Good Brewing Company. But yeah, it's an Imperial Porter brewed with blackberries, blueberries, and vanilla pods. And it's not as sweet as you would expect. Sort of like when you approach me. So, yeah, no real structure tonight. I'll try not to keep it too long, because you don't really need to waste your time sat watching a person sit in front of a camera. But I do genuinely appreciate it if you do. And I think I'm competing with Harry from Blue Nice Beer Reviews, because he's doing his live reviews. But I penciled this in ages ago, so if anyone's being a snake, it's him. Only joking. But yeah, so I've got some interesting trailers, free trailers to line up, and we'll sort of use them as a way to split up the different sections. So without any further ado, I think you can actually still see my camera behind the video, because I was doing a little bit of a test before. So it's all very hokey pokey, really roughly put together. But that's what I like about the films that I like. So let me just, how do I turn the camera from the laptop? Let's see. I don't want to remove you. So you're already muted. How do I turn the camera off? Device is not connected because you don't need to see me twice. So I will quickly turn my camera off and we shall play the first trailer.
Joseph E. Levine presents The Night Porter, perhaps the most explosive, important, and controversial film you'll ever see. The Night Porter. It was cheered in London, praised in Paris, and confiscated in Rome. Newsweek International says Last Tango in Paris was a light-hearted romp compared to The Night Porter. Rated R.
The Night Porter opens today at Mann's Fine Arts Theater.
Professionalism. So, the first port of call, I think, will be to talk a little bit about my interest in film. And I don't know where it really all started, to be honest. I think it's like most things. You start watching stuff or consuming stuff and you're getting bored of it. And you're sort of like looking for new sort of things. I think it all really kicked off when I was in college. And I was doing graphic design, as you do. Don't waste your time doing graphic design. In fact, don't waste your time going to university for any creative outlets. Do something proper, like a scientific-based degree, or be a real human being and get yourself an apprenticeship or something like that. Do not waste your time nor money on contemporary university unless it's a vocation that you can actually make money from, because trust me, 32 years old, and I started my first minimum wage job 3 or 4 years ago. Sad that. But hey, we all make mistakes, like going to Germany, but we won't get into that. So, yeah, it all started at college, and in fact, I remember it to a T. It might have been before college, but we always used to go to a shop called Music Zone, which had sort of like discount CDs and DVDs and stuff like that. We always loved sort of like film nights and stuff. So I always used to remember the Vipco sort of like VHSs with the sort of like just black, and then they had the skulls and then the title of the film in sort of like a muted gold foreboding typography. Shit from a design point. But there was something really sinister about these sort of like videos that had no artwork or cover, so you didn't know what you were getting. So that was always like the back of my mind, and then you'd always get like the DVDs that were like £1. And basically, because I was a little bit of a pervert, well, I kind of still am. Look at that, I've even gone to the expense of having a backdrop for this. Yeah, I used to like watching naughty videos, and oh, she's got her boobs out on the telly, that sort of thing. And I just realised I've left my cigarettes downstairs. It's a multifaceted stream, is this. So James said, I had Valerie and her Week of Wonders on Vipco. Yeah, there was something about Vipco. I mean, yeah, you could get the Vipco like DVDs and videos where they've actually got like poster artwork and stuff, but it was the fact that it was always like hushed away. And it became the Vipco stuff, even though it was really cheap and easy to get hold of. Because I used to be, we'll get into that, but I used to collect like DVDs and stuff. And tell you what, some of the trades I'd see friends doing, I'm like, hang on a minute, you've got this like really rare import from Denmark, and you've traded that for a couple of heavily censored Vipco DVDs. But it's a weird and wonderful thing, is the the film collecting community. But yeah, it always sort of stuck out to me. And we were coming home from college one day, and we always used to like go around to each other's houses on Friday night and have a few drinks. And we just started buying like really shit films like Driller Killer, Shadow Zone, Shivers, and we just watched them for that sort of like it's so bad it's good thing. But then it just sort of like triggered an interest in me because I was bored of like Hollywood films. I find Hollywood films 9 times out of 10 to be boring as fuck. Like I don't give a shit about Marvel. I don't give a shit about DC films. I don't give a shit about the new Star Wars films because they look and don't have the feel of like the original trilogy. It just bores the absolute tits off me. But that being said, there are some great, Hollywood directors with big budgets like Christopher Nolan. Watched the last, I think it was the last film. No, it wasn't. Last film I watched in the cinema was with my mate Chris, and we watched the guy who did Parasite. There was like a detective film he did in the 90s. I watched that there, but yeah, it's like I get modern film and Hollywood film for the most part just does absolutely nothing for me. It's just all soulless. 90% of it's done in front of a green screen, and that's not to say films are bad, because some great films that I've watched over the past few years, like Interstellar, Tenet. I don't want to say anymore because it just bores the crap out of me. I don't give a fuck about a new Spider-Man film. I don't give a fuck about the Avengers, because it's just, you could take all of these like Marvel Universe films and like put them mashed up, and they just look like they were from the same film. There's just no creativity or anything like that. It's soulless, absolutely soulless. So Rob from Hopscene says, yay, you are doing it, watching this with a beer and an aggressive erection. I wouldn't have it any other way, Rob. And yeah, it's like, if you're into that sort of stuff, that's absolutely fine. I'm not like pigeonholing all superhero films as crap, because I'm a big fan of the Punisher films. I think he's one of the few like comic book properties that is actually interesting, because how many times do we need to see Batman? Do you know what I mean? What are we getting from a new Superman film? We know his backstory, we know his villains. It's just retreading old steps, and I'm just sick to death of it. Whereas like the Punisher, he's actually an interesting character. Even the Watchmen, I really like Zack Snyder's Watchmen. I like the Alan Moore comic as well. Was it Alan Moore? Can't remember. That was probably the first graphic novel that I ever read, that, and I loved it. And I thought Zack Snyder's film was really good. But yeah, there's just a lot of shit nowadays. And again, no offense to anyone out there who might like a film that I'm shitting on. And fuck it out, I could show you a film that I like, and you think, what the fuck am I watching? But I like that. And it's sort of like beer as well. You can have a beer that everyone loves, and you just try, and it's like, this is just absolutely terrible. So then start getting into, these interesting films, and then reading up about them. And then you hear about the sort of like controversial films, and then stuff that was banned. And it's sort of like that morbid curiosity sort of like takes hold, and you're like, I need to see that. Like, that film's got a very graphic depiction of genital mutilation. I've never seen that in a film before. I've probably seen the real footage on some very questionable websites, but who hasn't? But I like the idea of someone using a film and just creating the most abhorrent, disgusting, in bad taste sort of cinema, And I mean, one of my earliest cinematic memories, who am I, Barry fucking Norman, was when I was a kid and watching Eraserhead with my dad. That film always stuck out to me. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of David Lynch. I think him as a person and his creativity is wonderful. Plus, he's got an absolutely amazing hairstyle. But I don't know, it's just a lot of his films don't really do much for me. Don't get me started on Twin Peaks. That film, just that series, I need to go revisit it actually and then watch the film as well and then the new series. Just give it a second chance. But I just thought that was so daft. Really daft. A really silly film series. I don't know, it's just something, the acting, it's all over the top. It's a really cheesy piece of television. And I don't know if it's like supposed to be a little bit serious with some weird things, but I was just like, when what's his face is every sort of character's name from every single film and TV show has exited my head as I'm trying to make a point. But Ray Wise's character in that, when he finds out that she's Laura, whatever her name is, I can't remember, when she's dead, it's the way he cries. And it's just, this shouldn't be funny. It's supposed to be a tender moment that you found out your daughter's dead. But it's just Ray Wise there, like, and it's just really, really funny. And I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but it's absurd. I like the absurdity of Twin Peaks. We've got Pedro Andre Mendes said, "Hi Peter, I'm having some issues, but I'm watching on my phone." Yeah, it can be a bit hit and miss watching streams on YouTube. I've been experiencing some issues, but yeah, usually once the stream's finished and then maybe a couple of hours and it's actually uploaded to YouTube for playback, you're probably better off on there. But I'm glad to see you've joined us. And then I learned so much watching your old channel and went download to YouTube wormholes as a result. Jamie Gillis is a fascinating character and also #peaches. Yes, indeed. Have I got pretty peaches on the wall of smut? I think so, but I think it's a bit higher up with Desiree Cousteau. Oh, there it is. I'm not sure if you can see it. She's cute as fuck. I mean, she's there as well, but don't really like the bob haircut. But Vinegar Syndrome did a really good job of the Pretty Peaches films. So I ended up selling loads of my film collection, and I need to get sort of like claw it back. But Robert, you've created the perfect segue for me. So, hang on, I don't care if David Lynch film's boring as fuck. I bought Lost Highway in VHS of the second-hand market in Wakefield for £1.50. Films for people who want to appear interesting and clever. Do you know what? For the most part, I'm going to very much agree. And I tell you another film like that. I keep looking at that as if that's the camera I'm supposed to look at. Another film that I just don't understand why people take it seriously is it Andrei Sikorsky is his name? But Possession, where she's running through the subway tunnel underpass and she's like screaming and throwing stuff around, and I'm just like, it's like this is supposed to convey such it's a critique on. No, it's not. It's just a woman overacting and being silly for the sake of it. And I've probably offended a lot of people because a lot of people really like that film. Let's see, he likes the Bob. I am with you on these new Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah, it's just sort of like, because I'm not sure how long it took the Star Wars trilogy to be completed, but I'd like to think there was a few years in between. Whereas now it's just like, I mean, obviously COVID has definitely, shouldn't say the C word. Obviously, that's put a halt to films being released. I mean, look at the James Bond film. I mean, Bond is always a good time. You know, that's an example of mainstream sort of cinema. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it's too big, that film. It's like, no, if it's an entertaining film, it's an entertaining film. The Revenant, whatever it's called, that was a really good film. I've watched some really good modern blockbusters, but yeah, it's just like the Star Wars films, they just churn them out so much. And it's just sort of like, just take some time and care, to these properties where you're just spewing out stuff. Although I really do want to watch Mandalorian. I've heard that's good. How has Jim Roller not made the Wall of Filth? To be honest, all of these posters were taken from a book that Robin Bougie from Cinema Sewer, he compiled a coffee table book of porn posters from the 70s and 80s, and he like took the original posters, cleaned them up, put them in the book, and the book's just been sat in here for ages. So I thought, just cut out the posters, and you've got some good artwork there. I think there's some that might be just teetering on the edge of being a bit too obscene, but yeah, and Hot Summer in the City, got to showcase that film. You will be seeing some of these films discussed over the next few videos, I would imagine. But yeah, I need to get more artwork and just make a wall, not just of vintage porn. But although Jean Rollin, he's a director I've not really gone into. There's been some really good artistic. I think he's very much an artist. But some of the films, I don't know. It's one of those weird things, isn't it? Because I know, like Redemption and cheap labels like that do a lot of the releases. But you will see him mentioned. Don't you worry. So, I love Possession. The shit alien demon is brilliant. I mean, yeah, I do like that scene where you finally get to see it, but I like it because it's just a daft, silly film, and Sam Neill is great in it. And I can never remember the lady's name. She was in Herzog Nosferatu. I mean, she's a good actress, but in that film, she's just... I like how unhinged she is. But I was like watching documentaries, and he's like talking, and the director's talking about how there's like meaning behind these things. And I'm like, is there really? Or are you just being absurd for the sake of it? I'm going to probably cause a little bit of controversy here, but that's why I'm not that big of a fan of Jodorowsky. Because I'm just like, yeah. Great aesthetics, he's got a great eye, but the films that I've seen, Santa Sangre is fucking wank. It's not a good film. Although I am very tempted to get the recent Arrow releases. And Constantine. The Spawn movie was kind of cool. Yeah, see, I'm very much in agreement there, Pedro, because I like the Spawn film with Michael J. Was it Jai White? Because it's a property that's not like, lauded as much as like your Spider-Mans and stuff. That's not to say there aren't any any good films. I mean, Red Brown as Captain America. Give me that any day over, Captain America now, and Wonder Woman 1984. I didn't see the first one, and I don't want to see the first one. And just see the sort of like in-your-face throwback 1984 nonsense. But yeah, the Spawn movie, I did enjoy that, and I like it when properties like that get the treatment of film and television. And I think that's why I like The Punisher as well. Although I've not finished the series. But I just like the Punisher character. And Constantine. Is that... Didn't they make a film of that with Keanu Reeves? I remember watching that in the cinema. Well, that creeped me out, that film, actually. Post-war looks good. Well, thank you, Rob. I love Mulholland Drive. I need to revisit it. I think when I watched it, I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. I remember when I sort of like struggled through Blue Velvet. The only reason why I like Blue Velvet is because of Dennis Hopper. But again, it's far from his best performance. and it's just a silly, stupid film. Yeah, Mulholland Drive. I'll have to revisit these films and criticise them, but there's part of me that wants to go rewatch some David Lynch films. He's a very talented man. That's what I would say. Have you seen Holy Mountain? I saw that quite a while ago, so again, it's unfair for me to be too critical. But Arrow released. Did they do a box set, or did they just do a really nice special edition of Holy Mountain? Because I would be interested to actually revisit his films, because I'm going off opinions of when I watched this stuff ages ago and just was like, not. I hate being the contrarian. Do you know what I mean? And then Pedro says, "Oh, okay, nice." So we're going to talk a little bit about Mondo Squallido, as Rob mentioned it earlier. But in the meantime, I'm going to throw up another trailer. Nice special edition. I imagine it's an hour are releasing Polizia Teshi box set in July, I think. I think all the films have already been released on Blu-ray, but Polizia Teshi. Now, we'll be doing a podcast purely on Italian crime films because they're my favourite, one of my favourite, absolute favourite genres of film. But yeah, I've been really getting back into Arrow. Picked up some really good stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to quickly put a trailer on. It'll probably have finished long before I've even come back upstairs, so it might be a little bit of a lull in content. But then we'll jump on to talk a little bit about Mondo Squallido, which is the sort of how this all came about. Because I've done a really shit job of explaining how I got into like cult films and stuff. But hey ho, it's just a shoddy of some of the productions from 1970s. And if you say that, you can get away with doing a shit job. So I'm always happy to do that. So anyway, what is the best way for me to show this? Do I do it from the phone or do it from here? I'll do it from the phone. So I shall see you in a little second.
New York City is only a day away from the green inferno of the Amazon jungle. 4 Americans plunge into the savagery of the Amazon jungle to film a documentary. They never come back. Are they still alive? If so, where are they? Shocking. Actually filmed in the Amazon jungle.
Starts this coming Friday at the Town Theater. Due to shocking scenes of violence, no one under 17 will be admitted.
Rob was indeed right. I did go for a sneaky piss as well. But yeah, so hope are these? Did that trailer play okay? Did it have sound? I hope it did. Whilst we've just seen a Cannibal Holocaust TV spot with no sound. I just don't like the way it doesn't actually take up the screen, so you can still see like the little pink like box there. Pink box. Anyway, what do you think of Boogie Nights? I thought that was a great film. And that was before I really got into sort of like vintage adult cinema. But then I watched some of these films, and then I could see some of the characters from Boogie Nights, and I could see who they're based off, and sort of like the themes and things like that. And I think, I mean, we'll do a special episode on vintage porn. We'll cover all bases, cover all crusty bases. But I think, yeah, of course, you've got the stereotypical like bam chicka wah wah sort of stuff, and oh, she's dead hairy and things like that on Big Tash. But there was some absolutely fantastically made adult films from the 70s, especially in the film era. Once it got to like VHS, it was a completely different sort of beast, really. Not to say that there weren't any bad shot on video piece of adult film, but you know, you've got the likes of, it's not that good of a film, but Deep Throat. You know, you have people like Jack Nicholson going to the premiere of Deep Throat, and then it triggered Gerard Demiano produced some great films after that. But then you've got the likes of Radley Metzger, also known as Henry Paris, when he's doing his films, with the opening of Misty Beethoven, Maraschino Cherry. What else was there? I've got a few of his films on Blu-ray. And yeah, some really very artistically credible pieces of cinema that just so happen to have very explicit sex in them. But yeah, I need to really revisit Boogie Nights. I think good potential double feature would be Boogie Nights, followed up by, or after, The People versus Larry Flint, who, rest in peace, is up there with Al Goldstein now, having the time of his life. And so I tell you what, I saw some great T-shirts from back in the day. Larry Flint for president, and there's a really cool badge that was circulating where it's like the White House, and behind the White House are just like a pair of women's legs, aghast. If you can say it, a pair of open legs would be aghast. I don't know. And then like a hand almost like teasing the front of the White House. Great stuff, but I'm not paying 60 quid for a badge that's been all scratched. But yeah, Boogie Nights, I really enjoyed that. Plus Juliette, what's her name? Julianne Moore. That first scene where he's like doing it on top of that table or cabinet, I was like, fucking hell. But it's a good film, and that scene at the end where he like pulls his zip down, unbelievable. Plus Philip Seymour Hoffman's great in that, and even what's his face? I'm dead good with names, aren't I? I'm the perfect person to be talking about actors and actresses and directors. What's his face? Out of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That doesn't sound right. I forgot what his name is, but he was good. It's a really good film, and I need to, because I don't think there's really been like a nice special edition of that film for some reason. But yeah, but I do very much like it. I think Worth the Piss. Like it. I saw Boogie Nights at the cinema. John Hughes' real story is much more messed up. It is indeed. The way he ended up. Even like the film Wonderland doesn't really do the story any justice. I mean, he was John Holmes, was it? Yeah, John Holmes. He was still doing porno films when he knew he was ill. I mean, great actor, top shagger, but yeah, the way it's sort of and the whole crime sort of stuff. Burt Reynolds smoking a bandit you lane. There we go. Did I say smoking the Sundance Kid? Are you sure you shouldn't be doing this film podcast, Rob? But yeah. So, if you could just bear with me 1 second, we shall go and click on here. Please present. There we are. Oh, so where my cinematic journey really started, the Mondo Squallido channel. Matai of the Dead, that's what it was initially called. Although I don't think I'm able to upload anything ever again to this channel, let alone do a live stream. I've not closed it down, obviously, because there's a lot of hard work that went into that channel, and some I like to think they're interesting videos, and as Rob said, they're informative. But look at that, 19.3 thousand subscribers. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter that YouTube completely destroyed my channel and then vilified me for having questionable content. But yeah, nearly 20,000 subscribers. Oh, can you hear me? Of course I got a call, as I'm doing a very professional podcast. Actually, can you actually hear me right now? Let me have a look at the comments. Have you seen Cut and Run from Ruggero Deodato? No, I haven't, but I'd very much like to see that. I don't know, I think now you can get a pretty good uncut release of it, but when I was first getting into it, that was one of those films, because yeah, Ruggero Deodato and Cannibal Holocaust, House on the Edge of the Park, Live Like a Cop, what's it called? I can't remember. It's Frogwa. I know that's not the right word. Foray. What's the word? I don't know. Into the Polizio Tesci. But I really need to see that. In fact, there's loads of sort of like very lauded within the circles sorts of films that I need to watch. And I need to rebuy all my sort of like Lucio Fulci films again, because I've only got a few. So Rob says the Emmanuelle films. Thoughts? I really enjoy the first Emmanuelle film. I think she's absolutely stunning in that film. It's cheesy as fucking places, but I do enjoy it. I've seen a couple of the like legitimate sequels. I mean, you just look at all those ones in the 90s, like Emmanuelle in Space, and like Emmanuelle's Secret Desires, which is like episodic. But yeah, I do enjoy the first Emmanuelle 1 and 2. I think they're pretty serviceable. Not in that way, don't worry. Serviceable films. I even like the sort of black Emmanuelle films of Laura Gensner. Emmanuelle in America, which has got probably one of the best depictions of what we assume a snuff film to be like. There's a very questionable one directed by a Greek guy, I think it was, called one of the titles for it says "Is Emmanuelle Queen Bitch?" And there's some very questionable scenes in that. They don't go to that place, but when you watch it, you're hoping to fuck that they don't go to that place. I'm not going to divulge that on a public stream, but just look up that film. I'm sure it's been documented in blog posts and stuff. But the original Emmanuelle films, I do quite like. didn't she also get somehow roped into? Didn't they do like a Carry On Emmanuel as well? Fucking hell. It's amazing, all these spin-offs. And I think the Carry On films are quite clever a lot of the time. But yeah, I do like the Emmanuel films. Why did YouTube mess your channel about? Basically, just as I was getting the viewership on videos, and I don't mean to do this in a braggy way, but 14 million views on the video, 4.9 million views, 536,000 views, 141,000 views, 120,000 views. There was a couple of months where I was actually making a wage just solely on YouTube videos. But then there was this whole sort of like adpocalypse thing that was going on. And YouTube were sort of like tightening up and sort of reevaluating their terms of service and stuff like that. And it was just unfortunate because my content was just deemed not suitable. So a lot of the channels, videos couldn't monetize. There were videos that were forcefully put into age restricted, like my irreversible review. And yeah, so I probably only made about 2 months of revenue on this video. And then YouTube just completely cut it off because you can't monetize age restricted content, which is ridiculous. So I think YouTube have made a little bit of money through the stuff that I did on Mondo Squallido. I mean, of course, there's bigger channels out there. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I wasn't, reviewing the latest like Hollywood film or anything like that. So, oh, look at that, very young, but still quite chunky pizza. That was fucking hell 8 years ago. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so it was just basically at the point where I couldn't make money off YouTube, which this channel now, I don't care about making money on YouTube because that's all it's about. And I never really wanted it to be about that anyway. But when you start like getting a nice little bit of money just for doing videos for fun, you sort of get a little bit of a taste for it. And then you think, hang on a minute, I can actually do this whilst I'm doing other stuff. And then it's taken away from you when you've never violated any sort of terms of service. I've never shown sort of like explicit images or videos. I've always been within the sort of barriers of fair use. But because it was just a little bit edgy, then YouTube just completely messed me over. Then I started to get videos where the thumbnail was being removed, where I think I've had about 2 community guideline strikes whilst I've not been active on the Mondo Squallido channel. So it's just like, even if I wanted to like monetize and do like a live stream or do super chat, I wouldn't be able to because of the community standing of a channel that's been dormant for, I'd say, about 5 years. So I just got really disillusioned, and it sort of like put me off watching films because I was reviewing films on my channel. I was writing reviews for blogs and websites. I've been, printed in zines and stuff like that. And then because of all this, plus it was coming towards the end of my sort of like time in Germany. It was just like, I can't be bothered anymore. Plus, this MacBook is on its last leg, and it's been on its last legs since like 3 or 4 years ago. So even if I wanted to edit a video as I would have back in the day, it would take me absolutely ages. And that's before you've even sort of like rendered it and got it ready for upload. So it just became it left a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. That was quite a bit of a long-winded answer. Behind the Green Door was one like Deep Throat. Yes, it was. Another notable with the beautiful Marilyn Chambers. Again, a very sort of stylistically done film, and done very, very well. Plus, she's a stunner, isn't she, Marilyn Chambers? I'm saying that as if you could actually still see the wall of smut. But I mean, she's in good company with Long Jean Silver. And even like Sex World, sort of like a porn version of, and the film's Westworld. That was a good release, that, from Vinegar Syndrome. You got the soundtrack as well, but of course I sold that because I was struggling for money at the time. Anyway, but yeah, Behind the Green Door, I need to revisit that. I think the last time I saw that was like on a torrent from a very... See, I like watching like VHS prints of films. I like seeing the damaged films. I like seeing them a bit fuzzy. I don't like it when films are remastered and they're cleaned up too much. But when I saw that Behind the Green Door, it was just like, it was an unwatchable print, to be honest. In real terms, you were censored of a fashion. Yeah, definitely. It was a form of sort of like cancel culture before cancel culture existed. And it's a shame because I met so many great people through that community and unfortunately lost contact with quite a few people. So hopefully, if people know that I'm doing these sorts of things again, it'll help me, reacquaint myself with some really fantastic people. Not that you wonderful folks watching this now aren't fantastic. I've met some amazing people in this beer community as well. And the Mondo Squallido, aka My Time Dead, was very well made, way above all the others. Why, thank you, Pedro. I very much appreciate that. It wasn't just like, oh, I need to get a video uploaded and edited. I used to have a lot of fun watching the film, grabbing the footage, trying to create a cohesive sort of narrative with it. I mean, if you ever want to watch some, it's probably some of the best stuff that I've made, really. Then the Mondo Squallido channel, I am very proud of it. I really, really am. And it's just a shame that it ended the way it did, because I'd still be doing it now if I could. And that's why, all this time later, I'm finally, although not in the sort of same vein, although it would be good to see if I could still do a Mondo Squallido style review. I'm glad to be doing this. And as I said, this first stream, it's not going to be a reflection of the content that you're going to see. I just thought I'd have a little bit of a natter, a little bit of a ramble, talk about what the plans are for this. There's still no real structure. I am probably going to go down the sort of like recorded route and then upload it as opposed to live streams. But then again, there's always a chance that I can have people on to talk about films. I know Paul from PA Brew News was very interested in joining me, and I'd love to have people on just to talk about films, have a few beers while we do it, try and see a connection between beer and film, like look at a film with a notable drinking scene, and that sort of stuff. And I mean, like the sort of giallo films and Italian films in general, there'd always be 9 times out of 10 a J&B whiskey product placement in them. So there's all these sort of like weird and wonderful things we can do, but it will be primarily stuff that's pre-recorded, edited together, and then put up as a podcast. But I'd still like to do sort of free-form stuff like this. But yeah, if you are interested in seeing that, I would say it's worth having a look at the old stuff. And I'm looking forward to doing more stuff film-wise on this channel as well. It's just trying to find that sort of like middle ground where I don't alienate the people who really like the beer stuff, but at the same time, I like the idea of having different content that different people can watch, because I'm not one of those YouTube channels where I expect people to watch everything that I put out. There'll be times when I'll put something out that's just silly and daft. But yeah, it's trying to find that fine balance of having content that people find interesting, really, which is hard being the world's most boring beer tuber. As the wonderful Mark liked to point out. Let's see. Yeah, I love the Emmanuel with Laura Gems there. Yeah, just interesting stuff, and she's an absolute dime piece of a woman. So yeah, that's really it, really, about that. And there's the Mondo Squallido channel, if anybody's interested in that. And yeah, that's really where all this... I mean, it wasn't just exploitation films. There's 24-Hour Party People. There's look at DVDs. I mean, I'll probably do... Maybe the next episode of doing this might still be live, looking at my DVD or Blu-ray collection. We'll see. It's all about that sort of stuff. And the good thing is, I could do like longer sort of podcast format stuff, but then I could do like smaller individual videos and have a nice back catalogue. I think that A Woman's Torment was the last film review that I did. And I hope some of these little clips that YouTube highlights won't be distressing anyone. Yeah, I mean, even a day's out. So, you know, it's always been a mixed bag. See, all these videos here, they had thumbnails. But YouTube apparently found thumbnail of poster artwork to be offensive and took it down. Plus, there was all the copyright strike stuff that was going on, which I always won. Because how the fuck is a very quiet piece of orchestral music composed by, let's say, Ennio Morricone? How the hell can that be confused with a part of a techno song? Do you know what I mean? There was just all this sort of stuff, and the one thing that still annoys me about YouTube now is when you've been like falsely copyrighted, or there's been a claim against you for like your content for like being malicious or something like that, even though it clearly isn't, until you appeal and the process is finished, you'll always be treated as if you have done something wrong. So if someone sees a video that's getting a lot of views and they think, hang on a minute, I'll just pretend that this is my content, I'll put a false copyright claim in. Until it's resolved, YouTube would give that person the ad revenue. And it's like you're working against content creators. And I think YouTube's been doing that for quite a while. But yeah, Laura Gemser, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman. And Emmanuel in America is a great film. Was it Severin who did a nice couple of box sets of the Black Emmanuel films? A lot of them now are easy to get hold of uncut in the UK. So I think 88 Films has done quite a few of those Emmanuel films. So I think it's time that we watched another trailer and then we wrap this stream up. I hope it's been interesting for people, even though it's primarily just been me talking about stuff. But yeah, I hope it gives you a taste of things to come. Emphasis on come. No, don't do that. It's nasty. So we've got another TV spot here for you all to enjoy when it plays.
Commit yourself to an experience of absolute evil. A journey of fear beyond your nightmares. From earthly torment to hellish horror. Eyeball will grab you. Suspiria won't let you go. Eyeball and Suspiria, the ultimate in total terror. Rated R.
There you go, people. Anyway, so I think I will conclude on responding to some of the comments from the previous videos. I've been really enjoying answering their questions that people have had. I did put it out last minute that I was looking for questions, so I don't think I got many actual questions for a Q&A leading up to the stream, but we'll see anyway. So let's go up to this and we'll start off. We'll go through them all, why don't we? Here we go. So, the return of Mondo Squallido film podcast. Lee Russell from They Must Be Destroyed on Sight fame. Fantastic podcast. Covers a wide range of films. Says, please, yes, do so. See, I'm so easily sort of like talked into doing this sort of stuff, aren't I? As if I'd put the video like that out and people would say no and me go, yeah, Joe, I won't actually do it. I always do it. I always do it. And Pedro says, I mean it, man. And I know a lot of others. Well, I do really, really appreciate it. And it probably won't be the same as it once was, but hopefully we can get some momentum on this, because it's just, even talking about, even though we've hardly mentioned any films, just talking about it, it's sort of like reignited a light. And I'm off tomorrow, so I might actually watch a few films tonight. We shall see. Paul from Pierre Bruno says absolutely. And live stream yard podcast, goodness, can't even read basic English. Guest star material right here. Yeah, it would not surprise me if we have Paul from Pierre Bruno joining us when we want to get completely politically incorrect. But how could you be politically incorrect when you talk about films like Sallow or Cannibal Holocaust or On the Prowl with Jamie Gillis? Very interesting man. Genuinely good actor, top shagger, and a really good cook as well, from what I've heard. May he rest in peace. I mean, he's been dead for a while now, actually, to be honest. But Water Power as well, dead good in that. The Jimmy O Show says, fire it up again, you must. And we've got a comment here from Pedro. Let's see. LOL, yeah, it'd be freaking awesome if we could bring back Mondo Squallido in any shape or form. Mondo Squallido is, because it's still live, one of the best, if not the best channel dedicated to trash cult movies. One can tell you really know your stuff. The channel's very well made. You were funny on it. So, of course, it'd be terrific to have you again doing something related to that, even if it's on this channel. The Clueless Drinker, which I subscribe to because of you, but it's not the same. Where you could review drinks, talk about specific. I can't read. I'm trying to read this fast, but it's just failing. The movie, the two somewhat related. LOL. Do as you can better. Take care, mate. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just talking about films and having a few beers, talking about films. We could do like watch-alongs. We could do sort of like audio commentaries if there were a few of us. Obviously, you'd just have the stream and then you'd be watching the film as you do it. But yeah, just like potentially getting some people in the world of film, talking about it, sharing a few beers with them. You know, there's quite a few possibilities. And I tell you what, thank you so much for that comment. It really means a hell of a lot that people really, really enjoyed that. Only if you wear a beret all the time. Got it here. I'm waving it in front of the camera, but you can't see it because I'm not presenting. Also, where's Crispy Boy? He's disappeared. I don't know where he's gone. He's just vanished. He needs to come back. Let him talk about some of his favourite films. I'll tell you what, he goes on and on about Bambi. Jesus Christ, can Crispy Boy talk about Bambi? And Hopseed says, do it. I don't get why. What are these, like, icons next to some people's names? Is that top fans? My real top fans pay $3 a month for some very questionable content. Would be a big fan of this, says Teddy Slick. Thank you, Teddy. And then on the Mondo Squallido presents Labierdomania trailer. Yeah, this is what talk about. Mondo Squallido is brought back from the dead. Now you need to find your way to bring back all the fans / ancient subscribers too, but hopefully content itself will do that. Bring back from the dead the very passionate and zealous people that could follow you and your content and beyond and back. I don't think this is well phrased, but whatever, the meaning is there. Read it perfectly, my friend. I need to think about some questions. I'll leave them here for later on. I just wanted to express my happiness and gratitude towards you and your work on this matter. And then a few issues watching the stream. But I'm really glad to see you power through that. Shouldn't you put this up on the actual Mondo Squallido channel? I probably should have uploaded a sort of like, oh, go check out the Close Drinker channel sort of video. So I think I will have to do that once I've uploaded this. So you sent a message, or you talk about the comments. But appreciate anyone talking. And it's just, I'm just glad even some of the people on Facebook who I used to communicate a lot with are really into me doing this. And it's just so fucking humbling. It really, really is. And Adam says, lack of beret. Always a lack of beret. So, yeah. That was the comments that I got. I recently saw your Giallo of Venezia review. So funny and accurate. That's a good film. That's a good, nasty Giallo. That's probably one of the nastiest sort of Giallos I've seen. And someone from one of the film groups I used to be part of made like a fan version of that, where they actually remastered the film, took it from different elements, because I think it's one of those films where it's heavily butchered because of its content, and put together like a nice little package that came with a badge and like a sticker, soundtrack. It was really good. You know, not for genuine release. A lot better than some genuine releases. But yeah, Giallo of Venezia. Giallo, another genre that I'm a massive lover on. So expect to see quite a few Giallo specials and Polizia Tesci specials on the channel. So I shall quickly turn this off. Oh, is that going to work? Or do I have to do it this way? There we go. So yeah, that's it really. I'm not sure what this stream has achieved. If it's enticed people to stick around, see what content will be there. But I hope it's got, you know, the people who really didn't know me from the film stuff, who watch this, just know a little bit more about me, you know, because film was a massive passion of mine. And it still is. It's been a flame that's been rekindled in the past couple of years, because there was a time where I was just like, my mental, you know, sort of like headspace and stuff, I was just like, I don't really want to watch anything. And, you know, I'm very guilty of it, where you've got all of these films that you've not watched, and at one point in time you're dead excited to buy that film. You never get around to watch it because you're like, oh, I don't know if I could be bothered. I mean, I bought the Lady Snowblood 2-disc set from Arrow like about 6 months ago. I only watched it for the first time a few weeks ago. Loved both films. Maiko Kaji is just a beautiful. I've got quite a nice collection of her films now, thanks to Arrow Films. So yeah, you'll be seeing like streams or videos dedicated to specific directors, specific genres, specific actors and actresses. It'll be a little bit harder to talk about the composers, because YouTube would just come down me like a ton of bricks if I was to, you know, share even like a fraction of 10 seconds worth of music from some of my favourite films. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to finally pulling my finger out and getting more content like this uploaded. It's probably been a really long-winded, rambly stream, but I've enjoyed the interaction. I've enjoyed asking a few questions, answering a few questions from you guys. And if anybody still wants to ask questions, then I mean, I'm going to be wrapping up the stream now, so it's probably not worth posting a question in the live stream. But once this has been uploaded to YouTube and anybody wants to ask any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and we'll probably do a little bit of a Q&A section in some of the videos to come. And yeah, I think the next time you'll see me on Labierdomania it will be another live stream, but we shall go through my film collection, which is a fraction of the size that it once was. But it's slowly getting rebuilt. There are some like classics and stuff that should be in everyone's collection that just aren't there. But we'll get around to it. Don't worry. So yeah, that's probably going to be the next stream. Is me looking at my film collection, and when we've done that, if there are any sort of releases that I've got that people are interested in, I can make little mini videos and stuff. So it's all going to be like podcast length content, but I'm not just going to upload film stuff willy-nilly. I want to put as much effort as I possibly can into these sorts of videos, because that's the great thing about a beer review. You know, you can just set the camera up, open the beer, drink the beer, job's a good one. Unless there's sort of like a special video, which there may well be, because I've got the Northern Monk cheese and onion lager, and the that'll probably be a live stream as well. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pay for StreamYard, so I can have a nice little custom made live logo here. That should not have been that hard for me to point in the right direction. But yeah, so beer of the night tonight, the only beer of the night was this. I'm holding it up to the fucking MacBook and there's no camera on. Good Brewing Company's End of Summer Imperial Porter. Very nice stuff indeed. So yeah, that's it really. Not sure when the next stream will be. I'll try and do this maybe weekly, or maybe a couple sort of things a week, or whenever I'm really in the mood to do it really. With the live streams, I will be putting up the events long before they're actually live, so people can, you know, get potentially interested. But in regards to like the beer content on the channel, I'm still going to be uploading the same beer stuff as I usually would. I'd want to try and avoid clogging people's subscription boxes up. So yeah, I don't want to just become one of these channels that just throws content out there, because I've done that before and it just really doesn't work. And how many times do you see those channels that upload about 20 videos a day, and it's just like 5 of your videos uploaded next to each other have taken up space for other people's channels that I wanted to watch. So yeah, I don't want to overwhelm with this, and I want to put maybe a little bit more effort and time into it. But yeah, the next episode you'll see, we'll be having a look at my DVD and Blu-ray collection, and yeah, and if you've got any suggestions or ideas for streams in the future, or podcast themes in the future, maybe I can every now and then do like sort of like tag videos and stuff like that. I'll ask questions, you can respond to me. I've not done a 24-hour movie marathon for a while, so that'll be good. I know Ryan Chataway used to do those when I was part of that community. But then again, I'd need time when I've got like 2 days off in a row, to be honest. Mind you, I've got a rotated weekend coming soon. So yeah, maybe sort of like film vlogs as well. I just want to diversify the content on the channel in general. With the bars and pubs and tap rooms opening up now, it gives me a chance to, make some vloggy day trip sort of videos. But you're going to be seeing a little bit more film related content on the channel. But as I said, it's not going to take away too much from the beer stuff. So hopefully it's sort of like a mixture of the best of both worlds. And, like we said, you can bridge the gap nicely, because what's better than having a few people round, getting a really shitty film, getting the beers in, get your favourite sort of like takeaway food, and just make a night of it. So, we could do watch-along parties. The opportunities are endless. We could do panel discussions. And I'm stoked with this, that this happened. So cool. Well, so glad to hear that, man. I really, really do appreciate that. And, I'm going to call it a day now, because I think I've gone on for way too long enough. I don't have any clips or anything to see us out, which is a shame. So you're just going to have to deal with me trying to end the stream. But I'm glad the fact that I can sign in on the same account on both a handheld device and my MacBook, and actually have the functionality on both systems to do what I want. So I'm actually a little bit happy. I'm just annoyed with the fact that when I'm doing the trailers and stuff, like, it'll cover that screen, but you can still see sides of the screen. So I don't like that. I'd like it to be the focus. I'm not sure if there's something you have to do, or maybe it's because I've ripped those videos straight from YouTube and they're in like 4:3. I don't know. But it wasn't supposed to be technically wonderful, this stream. It was just a last minute throw together. I realised I could do this like half an hour before I started streaming. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. In terms of beer stuff, I think I've got about three boxes coming tomorrow. So we'll do a live unboxing. James says thumbs up. I saw Gel Venezia recently in HD. Have they actually brought that out? Like, give that a proper, legitimate release? Who's released that? Because I'd love to pick that up for the collection. Because I've only ever seen sort of like fan edits and sort of like bootlegs. Which, it is a good film. Nasty little film, though. But that's what makes it that much more entertaining. And you've got beautiful music playing in the background. And it's nicely shot, as most Giallo films are. But yeah, Gel Venezia in HD. I'm going to have to make some more orders, aren't I? Even Vinegar Syndrome have got into the European cinema stuff. God, I remember when I used to get sent new releases from Vinegar Syndrome. Like a full sort of like box of new releases. I miss that. I miss doing reviews and getting screeners and things like that. Being involved in it, talking to people within the industry. Sort of like with the beer stuff now. Anyway, I'm definitely going to have to end this stream now because we've gone past the hour mark, hour and 15 minutes. I hope you found this even slightly entertaining. I don't think I've gone into as much detail about my sort of like history of film as I should have. My remembering names and film titles has been absolutely ridiculous, so expect that a lot in this. And the content going forward is probably going to be a little bit more pre-planned, but as I said, look out next time when we'll have a look at the DVD and Blu-ray collection. As you can see, it's really quite a small collection, really. At least you get to see a little bit more of the smut wall. Will that get me cancelled? I don't know. It's amazing we get offended by flesh. But then again, you can say, isn't it weird that we get aroused by flesh? So it's just weird how you can like objectify and see the body in different ways. Like, you can be disgusted by someone's body, you can be aroused by someone's body, you can be offended by someone's body. Do you know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. The world of film censorship, that would be a good theme for a video. Anyway, we've talked way too long. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me live and to everyone who's watched this on the playback. We'll have more structure. Don't worry. Don't worry, we will. And yeah, massive, massive thank you to you all for keeping me company on a slow Monday evening. And anyway, yeah, if anyone's got any questions, just let me know in the comments. Any suggestions, that sort of thing. Not sure when the next one will be, but you'll see it pop up in your subscription feed. Especially if you like this video, hit that bell, chime that bell, ring that bell, and press subscribe. And also, as I said, if you want to see some what I think is quite interesting content, I know you shouldn't really toot your own horn. I would if I could. Then go check out the Mondo Squallido channel, because I'm sure you might find something a bit entertaining, or it might be dead offensive to you, I don't know. We want to check your collection. Yay. Well, that's going to be next time, folks. Anyway, cheers all. You all take care. Enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully you'll join me on this celluloid journey. Journey. I've only had one beer. Fucking hell. See you guys later. Take care. Have a good one.